welcome back to Softbox. I'm Lyndon Dixon, and as usual, this video is brought to you by the Excelsior Sporting Club. Today, we're joined by Jordan Barker-Porter. Jordan, how you getting on, mate?
I'm all good. How are you?
Good, yeah, not too bad. I just want to take it right back to the very start. Tell me how you first got into boxing.
It was somebody that had reached out to us at the time. Just said, look, like I think it'll kind of be a bit of you. Give it a go. Fitness session X, Y, and Z on these dates and times. And at the time I was due to get married. I had a lot going on, so I was like, I just don't know if I can kind of commit. So I waited until after I got married. She'd asked again. I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'll give it a go. Walked in the gym and never looked back.
Well, at what point does it go from, right, I'm going to give it a go, I'm going to try it out, to this is your job, you do it for a living? When does that change? When did that happen?
It progressed pretty quickly, to be fair. Like, I knew after it was just the fitness session I started on. It was a boxing fitness session, but at a proper amateur boxing gym. And to be honest, after the first session, the coach had kind of seen something in us. And he'd asked if I'd done it before, and I said no. I've just kind of been brought up around fighting, just on the street instead. Both my brothers box, so I sat and watched them grow up doing it. So it's always been something that's been in my family. So from that point, I was pretty much, I think it was about a week, and he moved us straight up to squad sessions. And yeah, just one thing led to another. It was mainly to get me weight down and things like that first, get in a position where I could compete. Once I showed the coach that I was fully committed and I was making the weight that he'd set us, the target that he'd set us, then he knew I was serious about it. And yeah, we got the ball rolling. Had my first fight on the 3rd of May 2018 as an amateur, and yeah, had 24 fights in 20 months, and COVID hit and then turned pro. So yeah, busy.
Talk to me a little bit about the amateurs. That really weren't that long ago, but some people hate the amateur style, the point system and that. They just want to, the professional style is more suited to them. How did you find the amateurs? Because like you said, 24 fights, 20 months, that's a lot in a short amount of time.
Definitely, and to be honest, I probably would have doubled that before turning over, because I was literally just about to go into the national championships, and it was the day before the weigh-in that we went into national lockdown. So
Typical.
I never got to experience that, and that would have been nice to tick off the list and win that to then turn over. But it was just unfortunate what happened, and like, look how long COVID went on for. Was it we were in and out of lockdowns, this, that, and the other. Gyms were shut, so you couldn't train. And then I got offered to turn pro, and I just thought, you know what, like, I can train as a pro, I can really progress. I'm not getting any younger. Obviously, I started later in life to a lot of the other girls. And then I can kind of work on this time to get used to the pro style, because I do feel that was suited to me a lot better for how I like to fight. So yeah.
Well, talk to me a little bit about that debut. You only get one debut. It was on a decent little card in and around Newcastle. You beat your opponent on points. But like I said, you only get it once. So talk to me about how that went.
It was unreal. I mean, I sold over 100 tickets that night. It was just electric. Like, somebody had come and done like a video for us. That's something and I can always look back on. I show my little girl, and she recognizes on the telly and that, like, when I put it on YouTube. It was a special night. And there was such a big build up of that because of how long I'd been out the ring. So it was good. Yeah, four rounds, 2 minutes. It was crazy going back down to the 2 minutes, because I was used to then fighting 3-3s. So the pace is completely different. But yeah, it was just so good. Yeah. And I was fighting an experienced girl on my debut as well. She'd been in with some really, really good girls. So yeah, just electric night.
Well, next up, things came to a bit of a halt. You experienced the first loss of your career against Becky Ferguson. Talk to me about, it's not cliche, like, how did it feel, but like, how do you move past that? Because you won your first one, but then the second one, it was a loss. So how do you move forward after that?
It was hard to take, to be honest, because obviously I'd get in the pro debut. I was out then not long after that, and to be honest, like, me team had already said, it was like, you sure you're going to be all right for this one? And I'd said yeah. It was obviously, you're just getting started. You just wanna fight, and I was kind of still in the amateur mindset of you just fight, fight, fight. But it's different as a pro, and I just thought I would be okay. And looking back now, I honestly don't know even how I stepped foot in the ring, because Jersey was only 3 weeks old. Like, I totally underestimated being a parent and the lack of sleep, but I did it because I thought, like, I can do it. And looking back, to be honest, I still, like, not to go over old news, but I still thought I did enough to even edge a draw. I didn't even think I'd lost. But look, it is what it is. What happened on the night happened. I tried to get the rematch over and over and over again, and it didn't happen. So I just had to move on from it. Once I got back to winning ways, I was on a roll again.
Well, that rolled into, I mean, fast forward to now, you're 6-2. Talk to me about how the journey's been, because, like you said, you started in 2018, turned over after lockdown, and you've already had 8 fights. I mean, talk to me about the journey.
It has been crazy as a pro to learn. There's a lot of things. I mean, I have progressed very quickly as well under Nick. So all respect to him as my boxing coach. And yeah, there has been ups and downs. I made kind of the same mistake twice at the back end of the year of last year. I was on such a roll, 4 fights, 4 wins on the back of a stoppage win against Beck Conley. And then I went into the jungle on SAS Who Dares wins. I was away from home for nearly a month, lack of nutrition, no nutrients, hardly. You were fed fucking nothing. And then I thought I could get in the ring 6 weeks later and perform, and it was just a stupid decision looking back. I had a shoulder injury, so I went in the ring with like one fully working arm, and it was just, I don't know why I did it. I put myself in a sticky situation again, and I thought I could do it, and again, it was one of them. It was just an off night. I didn't get battered. I just didn't throw my shots. I was just mentally fatigued, and that shown in the ring, because I should have put Sheila Martinez to bed. She's naturally a featherweight. I'm boiling down to a lightweight, so ended the year on a bit of a negative. But because I'd already dealt with a loss, I kind of knew what I needed to do. And it's like a lot of people say, when you lose, it's the end of the road. It's not. It's just how you come back. And look, I've lost now. I know what it feels like. So I've got nothing to lose. So going into the ring, I feel a lot more dangerous. And this year, I said I just need to take my time. I had 5 fights last year in a short space of time, alongside doing SAS Who Dares wins. It was just stupid, really. But that's why we've slowed things down this year. Yeah, I've only had 1 fight. I would have liked to have already kind of been out already, but I've got the next one in 4 weeks. So I'm looking forward to that one, put on a big performance, and then hopefully we can push on for a title.
Before we talk about what's next, you mentioned it there, you was on SAS Who Dares wins. I mean, Vietnam for a month, I couldn't do it. But talk to me about that experience, because stuff like that can change you.
Oh, 100%. Like, mentally and physically, I hadn't allowed me body and mind to recover from what I'd gone through, because I was in the jungle on the actual course for 10 days. But because I wasn't jabbed and COVID was still a little bit of a touchy subject last year, I had to fly out, and we were in a hotel for just under 2 weeks, quarantining before they put us into the jungle. So we was basically locked in a room for 23 hours of a 24-hour period. You're only allowed out for an hour of every day. You weren't allowed to mix with anyone. You weren't allowed to talk to anyone. So it was already like torture before going into the jungle and doing what we were doing. So everyone else, you speak to everyone, they've had 2 weeks off for rest and recovery, nice little bit of time when they come back. There's me, 2 days straight back into a boxing camp. So it was just mad, do you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
unbelievable experience looking back on it. Like, it's just that experience I went through, money can't buy. And it was unreal being alongside the DS and getting screamed. Well, I didn't really get screamed and shouted at, because I did what I was meant to do, but just, yeah, what an experience.
Well, you mentioned about what's next. Well, you said it yourself, 4 weeks out. Talk to me about what you've got coming up.
Yeah, well, I was matched up with a Brazilian girl. She dropped out. We've managed to get someone locked in now. And then after this fight, we can try and push on. I want a big performance, show off what we've been working on in the gym, because I felt I never got that off in my last fight. I was kind of holding on to my shots a little bit too much coming on the back of a loss. But now I've got that out the system, I feel like I can really just showcase my skill and show what I'm about, because I know I can put it together. It's just putting together in the ring come fight night. So
Yeah.
then we can push on after this fight.
Well, elsewhere in the female side of the sport, it's been announced recently that Taylor and Cameron are having that rematch in November. I mean, a lot of people underestimated Cameron. I weren't one of them, but a lot of people did. Do you think that Cameron can pull it off again, or do you think that Taylor will avenge her loss?
100%. I think Cameron will win again.
Mm,
I just think she was too much for Katie. I mean, I was asked a prediction, and I did say I thought Katie would just nick it on speed. But I did say I think Cameron will cause her problems when it comes to her power. But it was the opposite way around. I felt like Katie looked fucked from round 3 onwards. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I just think Cameron was too much of a problem for her, and I think that it'll be the same outcome.
Mm. Well, last question. It's been a pleasure speaking to you so far, but talk to me about, picture this, it's Christmas time, you're with your family. What have you done come the end of the year? You're 4 weeks out from a fight now, but yeah, Christmas time, what have you done?
Is in where would I like to be in Christmas
Yes.
time?
Yeah.
Well, 2 more fights, 2 more big wins, maybe a cheeky title if we can get one confirmed and locked in for November, but we'll see what happens. I'm not looking past the 16th. And yeah, then I can sit and have a big, nice, juicy dinner with my family in December, enjoy a bit of downtime, and then we go even harder next year.
Well, like I said, it has been a pleasure to speak to you. I've been Lyndon Dixon, she's been Jordan Barker Porter, and we will see you on the next one.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.